Good afternoon. This is Jason Residlo reporting for AmericaJR.com, and I'm being joined by Rosemary Lokhorst, the CEO of Shadows Edge, and it's a mobile app to help teens with anxiety, depression, and isolation. How are you today?
Thank you, Jason. Very fine. I'm very excited to be here.
Very good, thank you. So, first of all, what is your advice to teens who are unable to be with their friends during this time of social distancing?
I think that teens nowadays, they are much more technology savvy than we are. And so I would advise them to use all the good things that technology can bring to connect with others in a positive way. I know that there's a lot of teens out there that game, for example, and there has been a lot of talk about negativity in gaming communities. But I think especially in situations like we're in now, that could actually change and to reach out to people through whatever medium they're comfortable with, whether that be social media or like a WhatsApp or something, or an in-game community. I think that's something that would really help them.
Oh, great. Now, this year, teens are having to skip their senior prom and their traditional graduation ceremonies. So, what do you think of them missing those big moments?
I remember my high school graduation. It was a really good event, and it was something that still, when I talk to, I had a high school reunion actually this weekend, a virtual one via Zoom. And so when I talk to my fellow classmates, it's just something we still always remember. So I really hope that these teens get the opportunity to maybe get together once the lockdowns are over, and just do a celebration, even if it's not a proper graduation, but something that really celebrates what they've achieved. Because even if they don't get to throw the party, they still have these achievements. They've made it this year, and I think that should be celebrated in whatever form possible.
Yes, very good.
A little more than just a distraction, or a little bit more than medical medicine.
It'll help you in so many ways, like more ways that you could possibly understand.
So, please tell me a little bit about your new app called Shadows Edge and how it will help the teens.
Sure. So Shadow's Edge is a mobile game that was originally developed to help teens and young adults that are struggling with health issues, physical health issues, chronic illnesses such as cancer, diabetes, Lyme disease. And as we started developing, we really worked from the start with teens and young adults. And we started noticing that there are a lot more issues that teens are facing, like pressure, anxiety, depression, especially now in this time, of course. But already a year ago, we started then changing and looking at, okay, how can we help more teens, and how can we help them with what they're going through? The American Psychology Association says that 27% of teens are self-reported that they have at least had one depressive episode, and 75% self-report that they could use a little emotional help. And I think that's where Shadow's Edge comes in. So we use a medium that they're comfortable with, gaming. That's where they are on their mobile devices playing games. And so
Mhm.
we bring the content to where they are, instead of forcing them to consume content that could help them elsewhere. So Shadow's Edge is a city that's been hit by a storm, much like what we're going through now. In fact, the world looks a lot in the game like it does in our world now, with streets being desolate and barren and empty. And as you enter the city, you see that a storm has hit and time is frozen, everything is out of whack, and it looks like everything just is still within that storm. And you have to help a character you meet find the pages of a journal that's been scattered across town. And
Oh,
then you start working through your emotions by answering the questions that are on those pages. So that's where the psychology influence comes in. And as you start doing that, the city comes back to life. Plants will start growing, animals will come back, scaffolding will show up. So the world heals itself by you working through whatever it is you're dealing with, from daily disappointments to major life traumas.
wow, that sounds pretty interesting. Now, is this free on Apple and Android devices?
Yes, that's correct. It works on any Apple or Android devices, tablets, phones, and it's downloadable from the App Store and from Google Play. There's no in-game advertising either. If you do the work in the journaling, you have the impact in the world, but also you get tools to spray paint and to vent and to really create street art in there. And that's something that's really popular with our players as well. We have about 30,000 players at the moment. And as you start leveling up and you gain more tools through your journaling to create art, you can also start posting that in the in-game sharing platform we call Shadowgram. It's like an Instagram, but within the game, and you can see what other people do. You can comment back on them, and you can share it to your social media as well. And we see that, especially now with COVID and with isolation, that's become quite popular. It's a judgment-free zone where teens can share and young adults can share their feelings. They can vent, they can, react to others, they can start following others. And so that's something that we want to put a lot more focus on now with the way the world is, because of the frustration that they're dealing with. Someplace safe that they can feel at home and reach out to others in a comfortable environment.
Yes. Now, is it one of those games where they can play with their friends, or is it single player?
It is mainly single player, so you do your journaling by yourself. You explore the world by yourself. As you explore the world, there are wisdoms to be found, psychological wisdoms that you do, puzzles that you will start to solve. But then also you have this sharing platform, so this community where you can post things and you can react to others. So that part is multiplayer. You can see the art of everybody in the game. We will do a lot more over the coming months in there, where you can start following specific themes or following specific people, do a lot more with commenting, for example. And we run a lot of challenges in there. So we've had a couple of COVID-related challenges where we've asked people, to prettify their environment, where we ask people to do specific cognitive behavioral challenges within the game. And then if they do those and post them and post their experience to Shadowgram, then they get in-game rewards to be able to level up and to create more.
Oh, wow.
It makes me think of a black period, a dark period in your life, and you're at the edge of it. You want to get out of it, but you're not there yet.
Now, from the information I have, it says here that you worked with 250 teens to develop the app. Is that correct?
That is correct. From our first workshop, where we started talking about how can we make a game that where we have emotional strength, that we build resilience. How do we build resilience in the form of a game that is cool enough? We had already a teen in there. She was 19 and had diabetes type 1. And we saw the input that came from her. And so we decided from the very first drawing of the characters, who, by the way, looked nothing like they did then, we had a lot of input. So we had over 500 touch points. In the end, we had over 250 young people work with us, and we still have new people working with us. We've just started working with my high school class, in fact, with my high school, with the STEM class, who will be testing the COVID-related features over the next coming months as we start releasing those as well. So we keep working with the teens because it's for them. We're not doing this for us. This is not a vanity project. This is a project to help them. And so apart from the psychological content of what we have to do, we really have to make sure it's something that they like doing and that brings them something for their everyday life.
All right, very good. Now, how would you say we can move forward once the pandemic ends? How do we move forward here?
I think that even if the pandemic ends, there's a lot of frustration that will still be lingering. I mean, for one, of course, there's all the political situation, economic situation, but just for these young people, their lives have been uprooted, and they may not have that balance that you and I may have of, we've been through things like this before, not specifically this, but we've been through tough times before, and we know this too shall pass. And in this age where they are just becoming independent, having then been locked down and have that independence be stripped away, that is really tough for them. And so I believe that over the coming months, months, there will be almost PTSD-like symptoms still showing up. So I think for us to help our teens and our young people, it is going to take a lot of encouragement. It's going to take a lot of help to give them that confidence back, to help them across the hurdles that are coming, because there will be hurdles coming for them. They have missed school, they've missed classes, there's insecurities, about when they're going to join classes again, friendships are up in the air. And so all of those things, I think it really helps for them to have a place to turn to be able to talk about those things. And research shows that doesn't necessarily have to be the immediate family or friends. And so I think if we can provide tools such as Shadow's Edge, but there's others out there as well that help them through that area, through that time period, I think that's something that we aspire to. We just want to get our tools out to as many young people as we can, as quickly as we can, now that it's really, really pertinent and that it's needed. And we want to do that for free.
Do I really love myself? What do I want my doctors to know about me? And what am I not saying?
Now, as you stated, is there any way that parents can help their teens during this time?
Absolutely. In fact, we just ran a series of webinars on the topic. We have a webinar coming up on the 28th of April. And the topic is quarantined, how to help your teens and stay sane in the process. And so we have our resident psychologist, Dr. Christy Pikowicz, who focuses exactly on those types of topics in her practice, talk about what are some practical experiences. So in preparation for the webinar, I have picked up an odd thing or two. I think trying to make this situation as fun as possible and really meeting them where they're at is something that could be really helpful. I know this is out of the comfort zone for a lot of parents, but if your kid is a gamer, try to play one of their games with them. If your kid is somebody that likes writing, try to write a story with them. Try to do things that they like doing and meet them there, instead of trying to come up with activities that the whole family can enjoy. I think one of the things that we see in young people now is that they go back to what is comfortable for them, and whatever that may be. For me, it was writing when I was younger. Some people are artists and they like to draw. Some people are gamers. Right? So I think making that effort and trying that, I think that could help the connection.
All right, very good. Any other final comments before we wrap up?
I think that this is fantastic that you do these types of shows where we can try and focus on how to help young people. So thank you very, very much. We're very excited to be on this.
And please give us the website and the information for people to get the app.
Absolutely. So the app is called Shadow's Edge. So if you search that in the App Store in Google Play, it will show up. And the website is www.shadowsedge.com.
Very good. Thanks so much. It was nice speaking with you today.
Thank you, Jason.
Very good. Thank you.